You reap what you sow. You clicked, you get a whole bunch of Mitch. It's how it works here on Karma's a Mitch. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about graduation. And no, not the Kanye album. Well, a little bit later we will. But this time, about me graduating. Hopefully everyone's having a great day. I know I am. Outside working all day. Just came in. Hopefully I can record just a little bit before I have to go back out. But we'll just have to see how it goes. The weed whipper overheated, so now I'm stuck in here cooling off as well. So I'm going to be taking a handful of water breaks. So if you hear me, I'm going to try not to, and I'm going to try to cut it out, but we'll see how it goes. This week's episode is all about graduation, and no, not about the Kanye article. I am talking about my graduation. I'm graduating from Mohawk's radio broadcasting and creative content course, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Heading out to do that this Thursday. Getting out to see everyone again. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully we can all stay in touch a little bit longer. We have so far, but we're going to see how well that goes as well. The program, I don't know how to describe it. I learned a lot more actually working in radio in the time that I was at Mohawk. You know, the semesters, and you had the time off and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. It was definitely an introduction to radio, which is what I got through my high school co-op. And again, not everyone had that opportunity, but I really think they should have taken a co-op in something like that. It's hard to get into, absolutely. It's hard to get like a co-op there. Even like I've had so many co-op teachers come up and like try and go like, hey, you know, like if you want a co-op student, let us know. Like, hey, we can work something out together. And it just doesn't really work out like that, which is really unfortunate. But it's hard to actually do anything because I couldn't really do anything when I did my co-op with KX. I wasn't supposed to be on the computer. It was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I don't really have anything to do. I guess you can just like scroll Facebook. I guess you can do win sticker registration. Just don't click anything. Don't click anything out. Like sort an email inbox. Like don't respond to anything. That's someone else's job. So by the time I actually started doing the cruiser stuff, it was not much more than what I was doing unpaid. So it was great to get actual money for it. But like from what I was told, the co-op student before me got to do all this fun stuff, and I just didn't. It was always, oh, well, you know, we'll try to get someone in, we'll try to do this, we'll try to do that, and I was just like, well, all right. I guess I'll just continue to do what I was told and keep my head down, and well, try not to keep my head down. Just try and make myself obvious, but not overbearing. Like, ooh, let me look over your shoulder and watch you do all this stuff. So when I actually started to get into the radio stuff at Mohawk, like we started out, and everyone did not like me, because I had to say to every single one of our profs that we had, like, oh, you know, I do XYZ with 94.7. And they're like, how did you get in there? How did you get that job? Like, that's a really good station. Like, that's, again, #1 in Hamilton. So how did you get that? So I had to tell every single professor, and we had like 2 a day, 5 days a week. So people got sick of it really, really quick. I never was like, oh, I know everything. I'm not going to show up to class. I'm going to show up everyone. It's like, you know, you can do your teaching. I'm going to learn if I have something to learn. And if I have something to add, I'm going to say, oh, you know, like I've seen it done this way. And I'm not going to say, oh, you're wrong. But they taught us corporate radio, which I wasn't happy about, because corporate radio is dying. Not radio in general. Corporate radio is dying. And they had everyone in from all the corporates, because those are the people that make it big, and those are the people that get the big shows and the syndicated shows, and it's not the people who are actually out down working the streets, basically. I mean, that's what I did, but it's not the people that are sticking around for a long time. It's not like they just taught us not that radio was dying, but they taught us almost like an old dog that you have, and you're just like, good job, like you're not thinking of like putting it down, and you're just trying not to let it know, and you're like, you know, you're not dying, you got plenty of life. That's kind of how it felt, because they tried to teach us so much into the creative content sphere, but going and listening to podcasts by content creators, it was they taught us next to nothing with that as well. Like it was a whole bunch of nothing, and all I needed was the piece of paper that said, oh, I do know how to do the stuff, but like none of the stuff they actually taught us is useful. The one thing I didn't like was how long the breaks were on the radio. 1:30. Like, that's a long time. What is that? 90 seconds? You might not think it is, but like, it was really brutal. Like, working with everyone on KX, they had 45-second breaks. And that's to get in, that's to get out, that's to do all of the stuff you need to talk about, and say something worthwhile so that people keep listening to you. And that's really what that was. And that's what I learned. So I would get through everything in the 45 seconds and have another 45 left. So then I would have to ramble on and keep going, and it just didn't sound great, because if I just shut it down when I was done, then I'd have a whole bunch of time left over at the end, and I didn't want that. I wanted to time out, because that's really the whole point of learning the stuff on the radio, is learning to time out and learning to hit those points. So it took me a little bit to slow down and to add a little bit more filler, but not enough like filler that it sounds like filler, but filler so that it adds more, and it still keeps people entertained, and it still keeps people enthralled in what you're talking about. So that was my problem with it. One of my problems with it. There's always plenty more. Now I have nothing against the professors, because they weren't actually teachers. They were professionals, and they were very good at what they do. But you need to be good at teaching to be a good teacher. We had a handful, great personalities, great people to learn from, but really bad when they actually tried to teach, and when they tried to control a classroom, and when they tried to do any of the academics that followed being a teacher, like grading and coming up with feedback. Like they didn't give us any sort of criticism for the first 3 semesters, pretty much, which is hard, because when you're trying to learn what to do better, learning what you're doing good isn't enough. It's, hey, what am I doing poorly and what can I work on? And not, okay, so I know I can come up with good topics. I know I can come up with good leads into and out of songs, but what do I need to work on? And it turned out that what I needed to work on for basically my entire time was how fast I talked. And I had gotten that before when I was like reading scripts, and when I was doing stuff with KX just from our producer, but I just thought it was when I was reading. But it's all the time. I talked way, way, way too fast, and I even find myself doing it a little bit now here too. It's an opportunity to really watch and really slow down, because there's no rush especially when I'm recording this. But when I was doing a break, or when I was doing my scripts and stuff, I had a certain amount of content that I needed to fit into a certain amount of time. So it wasn't cutting content to make the time. It was speeding up and creating more time to fill the content. And that was my biggest problem, which I didn't know until my first air check in my 4th semester. And that's when we actually started to learn something. Because when, I can't say too much, because I know people listen. But if you've heard me talk about it in person, then I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. But there was a big distrust with the grades we were getting. Like, from what some people got and what other people got, it was very confusing on how some people graded things, especially our on-air stuff, because you would hear some people, because you go into it and you're thinking, oh, on air. Like, I know someone I worked with at KX who went into it thinking, yeah, I'm going to be a jock, and learned and figured, oh, I don't like the actual on-air stuff. I like the behind the scenes and the production and that sort of stuff more. So that's what I want to do instead. Actually, multiple people. But, and some people found that out, and some people discovered that about themselves. And that's great. That's exactly what you want to do with this. Because you're not really getting into it. As long as you want to be in the radio sphere, the course is a great thing to do. But some people just weren't good at it, and they were getting the same grades as people who were and really wanted to do better and really tried. Then there are other people who didn't, and they got the same, very similar, at least very similar grades. And there's a lot of people, because, like, I understand. Do I? I don't know if I really understand, but like, especially on air and stuff with radio, performance is how you get your job, and performance is how you keep your job. Close my door. The window's open. I had a fan on, but it was making too much noise. Performance is how you get your job. Performance is how you keep your job. And performance really dictates everything about your job. So you need to perform well to do well. So all these people that were not performing well were getting the same grades as the people who were. And I understand, oh, well, you're supposed to be learning, you're supposed to be doing this. But, like, it got up to the point where you didn't... Well, it started from you're not helping us progress. And then it turned into, okay, well, now we are. But you're now still not marking us on that. You're just marking us on, showing up and handing stuff in instead of, like, the actual quality of this. Like, if you do a math test, the quality of your answer, basically, is it right or wrong, but also how you solved it dictates the mark you get. Not just handing it in and showing up to the class. Like, if I did that, I'd ace every test. I'd ace every math, everything. But, like, that's just what confuses me, because I'm a very math-oriented person. Math science is not super artistic, which is really funny, because now I'm in a very artistic job. But I don't know. That is some of my gripes about Mohawk. And it's not about Mohawk as a whole. I don't look poorly down on Mohawk. It was kind of how the program was run. And I don't know where the blame really lands on that. Because I kind of find everyone has their out. The professors, the whole school as a whole, like, there are very few people who actually hold the accountability, and I don't really want to say too much about that. Graduation is going to be something. I don't really care. It came out. I got honors. I didn't really care because, again, the whole marking stuff was, did you show up and did you hand things in? And I showed up a lot of the time because, I mean, it was a 45 minute drive in with the traffic at for a 9 a.m. class. It was more like an hour. I always gave myself a little bit more than an hour. But it's because I could then, after class, or even a lot of the time in class, but a lot of the time after class, go 5 minutes down the road and work for a couple hours and make it kind of worth it to me, and then I can go home. A lot of the time in class, most of my radio stuff was not, I could do virtual. I didn't have to be there for it. So I would just open up my laptop and just do radio stuff. I would find events. I would respond to emails. I would do the wind sticker stuff. And a lot of the profs got fed up because it didn't look like I was paying attention. But this is what I did in my grade 12, chemistries, chemistry, science, biology. I would just go on my computer and do something else and listen, because that's all I needed to do. I didn't have to look at something, and if you put something up on the board, I'll look at it and then I'll read it because I read really quick, and then I'll go back to what I was doing. So I was able to get paid in class while I didn't learn because I already knew it. I remember that they would have something up on the board and I would be doing whatever, and there we go, Mitch, what's this? And I look up, this. Oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then going on about stuff that, we didn't learn anything about voice tracking, really. No, we didn't learn anything about voice tracking. We could have voice tracked shows, but we just never did. When 25% of at least the broadcasting on KX is voice tracked. Some of Mike's show, Mondays and Tuesdays, is all voice tracked. And then 75%, if not more, of what's on the weekend is voice tracked or recorded, if you count the Crick and Chase Countdown, which is technically a syndicated show that we air. It's recorded on Wednesdays and we air it on Sundays on the station. I didn't sign an NDA. I don't have to not disclose anything. That's also not private information. But voice tracking is a big part, and we talked about it a lot on how these corporate stations will have you doing a show and voice tracking a show, and then that voice track airs on 20 different stations. So it's a big part, and I don't know why we just didn't talk about it. And that's frustrating, I guess. It kind of sucks. There's a lot we could have touched on. And it's one of the shorter radio programs. I think, I don't remember if Fanshaw's a 2 or 3 year. But Niagara College is 3 year because they also throw in TV and film. You can choose what you want to go into. Radio, TV, or film, I think. I think that's how it goes. Or it's broadcasting or film. I don't know too much about. I think Seneca might have been a 3 year program. See, the problem is I talk to all these people that go, and I don't listen because I don't care. So I don't. Why would anyone care about this? I don't know, but it's just my opinion and my experience with it as well. It's rough, right? It's hard to go into something and go, why aren't we learning about this? Why aren't we learning about that? And people just don't care, and they just go, oh, well, we're not learning about that. Why not? Why can't we take 20 minutes and talk about it? Or why can't we talk about this? Even just talking about what's it called? Now I can't remember words, but the software we use to play all the music and stuff. Like, why can't we talk about all the different kinds? Because we used a program called iMedia Touch on at the school at Mohawk, and we used a different one called Wide Orbit on KX, which is much better. It's just a better program. So it's one of those things where why aren't we talking about this? Like I a lot of people had always said, like, why are you here? And it's because I don't know everything, but I know more than this. And I took it before I knew I was getting into it. And even now, I'm pretty sure I would need it to get a job. Because a lot of the... It's hard. It's hard right now. I was going through a whole bunch of different job boards and that sort of stuff, and there's not much. And a lot of them just keep it up for way too long. I say that, and then I go and spend almost an hour applying to another job. Writing a new cover letter, touching up the resume. I like to change it around every now and again, but, it gives me something to do. So I've been doing that. Completely forgot I was supposed to be recording because I'm supposed to get this up really, really soon. So we're going to go for another little bit. So what were we talking about? Graduation, right. I don't know what to think about grad. It's like early I got to be there at like 8:30. It's going to, I don't even know if it's really worth it. But they're probably going to stick me on the shipping if they have to ship me my diploma. So I should probably just go, right? And I know everyone was like, oh, your parents want to see it. Like, do you know how difficult it was trying to get tickets for that? Now, granted, I got tickets and I didn't know I got tickets. So they just kind of sat there and I was panicking about it. But then, I have tickets. I just didn't send them anywhere. So I actually did get tickets for them, which thank goodness. But it's early and it's going to be stupid there too. Because I was there not too long ago for a friend's radio show as well. And they have half the roads dug up there now. So it's going to be just crazy going out there. So I don't know what it's really going to be like. Because then we have to sit through the whole thing and going through the grad. Hopefully they do it quickly. Hopefully there's not too much talking and it's just, here you go. Bye. All right. Thank you. Shake hands. Take a picture. Yeah. All right. Hopefully it's just that. Because if not, it's going to take forever. And you just got to sit there. And it's... I don't really get it. I don't know. People, it's going to be a packed... it's going to be packed. They're broadcast... They're live streaming it to different classrooms. They're doing all this sort of stuff. I don't get it. Sure, it's an accomplishment to some people. It's really not to me. And I don't mean to brag by saying that, but I didn't try. I didn't do anything. I just paid money and now they're going to give me a piece of paper because I showed up. That's basically what it feels like. Even though I got honors and even though I did really well in a whole bunch of classes except one, and I don't want to get into that. But anyway, oh my goodness. I'm going to get way too sidetracked because I got to go at 4. So hopefully I'll get this up before then, if we figure this out. It might just be a shorter one. It might just be talking about grad. I know everyone's gonna think, graduation, the Kanye album. No, it's not. Let's talk about graduation. Actually, I'm gonna open up a new tab and we'll talk about that. Now, graduation made its rounds again. Back, when he was doing his stuff on Twitter, and they're like, guys, but he made graduation. It's all right. He made graduation. He can say all this stuff because he made graduation. It wasn't that good. I don't think it was that good. It was released September 11th, 2007. It's his third studio album by Kanye West. I don't think it's good. I really don't think it's good. It got Album of the Year nomination. Did it win anything? I don't really think so. I don't like any of these songs. I went and listened to it because I was like, you know what? Everyone's saying, oh, but he made Graduation. I'm like, it's got to be a really good album if people are looking past all the bad stuff he said to be like, yeah, but he made Graduation. Hopefully it was just more of a meme. But like, sure, people can like it. People can like stuff that I don't like. But I don't like it. Like, I think it's just bad. There's nothing really... there's nothing that stands out to me. No, I don't really like rap as a whole. I like the beats. I like all that sort of stuff. But there's just no real thing that stands out to me about Graduation. Now, the artwork is classic, like, obviously. I wonder if the Wikipedia mentions any of the stuff that he said, and people are like, "God, but he made Graduation." Oh, but maybe it's in critical reception. No, it's not. Won the Hip Hop DX Album of the Year, American Music Awards Fan Favorite Rap Album, Best Rap Album at the Grammys. Album of the Year was nominated for. Like, it was talking about like the legacy and all this sort of stuff. I don't think it was that good. Like, it was a good album. Like, it wasn't bad. Definitely wasn't bad. But it wasn't like, guys, you made Graduation. Guys, like, it's not good enough. Like, you'd probably know some of the songs, because again, it's Kanye, it's obvious, like, it's big. Geez, I gotta go somewhere today. I won't even make it to soccer today. They lost their last game. What was it? 2-0? Yeah, kind of hurt. But and I think they're getting a little bit better, but it's not obvious. Like, they're 8-year-olds. It's just funny to go and watch them, like, all swarm the ball like bees and then, like, try not to kick each other. At least our team doesn't want to kick anyone else. All the other kids are, like, fine pushing and kicking. And now, granted, a whole bunch of these kids have been playing since they were, like, toddlers, and Madison, my brother, joined in this year. So he doesn't want to kick anyone. He doesn't want to push anyone. But, like, I'm trying to get him. It's I'm gonna raise him to be like a goon, like in hockey. It's gonna be like the Philadelphia Flyers, if you remember, like when they started. If you remember, but if you know about how they kind of started, they they played really poor hockey, so they just fought everyone and got all of the good players off the ice, so then they could finally score. And that's actually how they were one of the only teams to actually beat the Soviets when they did the USSR versus the NHL games. It got so bad that after the first period, the Soviet team just refused to come out because they're like, no, they're just beating us up. Like, they're not even playing hockey. They're just trying to fight us. And the NHL commissioner was like, we're not going to pay you. And in the Soviet way of not having money and not using money and, you know, being communist, they got their butts right back out there because they wanted the money. Oh, I just love talking about anything about the communists because it always contradicts themselves. Oh, it's so funny. Communism will never work. Anyways, gooning. Goons, not goon. I just want them, like, because there's a handful of kids that are just really good. I don't know if they play rap. I don't know what they're doing, what their deal is, but they need to stop trying so hard because they're also playing with kids that come up to, like, their armpits. So, like, soccer, I played baseball, right? So baseball, you didn't really have that opportunity to be the star player. Like, sure, you would go out and, you know, you'd have the kids that would bat first and all that sort of stuff. But there wasn't really a spot you could put someone where they would consistently be able to do well because everyone got a turn and every hit went somewhere else, and it was very fair system, right? Like, you could have a bad player where they perform poorly when given the opportunity, but like a good player will just perform how they're supposed to, and there's nothing someone else can do about it, and there's nothing that someone on the other team can't get in front of them, someone on the other team can't steal that opportunity from them. You're given that opportunity and you get it. So that's why I like baseball a lot more, especially just for kids. Hockey's more the same way, like soccer, where like you just keep passing it to the good kid and everyone else doesn't get a turn. It's a much better game for like than soccer or hockey or any of that. So that's why I like baseball a lot more. That's why I'm still kind of like, why is he in soccer? Soccer sucks. I'm still sitting on that. Again, little kid soccer is above like men's soccer or women's soccer, professional soccer, I should say. And like literally T-ball is above everything else, because still you're given those opportunities and everyone gets a turn, and that's how it works. There isn't really, like, sure, they don't follow the rules and they don't go through, but like, which is the same kind of in soccer, but still the kids just steal the ball and everyone goes and runs it and kicks it in. Like, this is their first year with like actual goalies, which I think is crazy, because like everyone, like, there was always a position when you played T-ball. Sure, they all just still swarmed the ball. Again, I don't like soccer. I think it's a bad sport. I think I'm just about to cut it there. Super short, I know. I'm very sorry, but I have something to do. I was going to record it yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, I have nothing to do tomorrow. I can just record it tomorrow, and then I can just do it then. I have nothing to do. I'm not doing anything. And then I start doing stuff. And then I get sidetracked and apply to a job. And now I'm like, oh no, oh no. I need to finish this, and I need to do this. So thank you so much for listening to Karma's Mitch. We're going to be back next week, hopefully with a much longer episode. Again, sorry for a much shorter episode this week, but it was a lot of fun to record. Don't forget, you reap what you sow, you get back what you put in. So do your 110%. You're going to get it back in the coming days. There's always more opportunity for you. Karma's a Mitch. So make sure to keep that in mind. Thank you again so much. Don't forget, head on over, maybe subscribe, follow, all that sort of stuff. You can also head on over to my website as well for my YouTube and all that sort of stuff, if you're not already on YouTube and listening. So hopefully some more stuff coming this week. I was doing some thinking this weekend, so hopefully I have something coming up on TikTok, Instagram Reels, maybe Facebook Reels, maybe it'll double post, and of course YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, karma's a Mitch.